Aburi Accord. You have been hearing about Aburi Accord. Now, I'm going to tell you what Ojukwu proposed to General Yakubu Gowon. And both of them agreed in that Aburi meeting. And also, the major role Ghana government had then played to make sure there is peace between Nigeria and Biafra. Pay attention and follow me carefully. Now, the agreement that was supposed to stop a war on January 4th and 5th in 1967, as the storm of war gathered, Ghana tried to step in and resolve the crisis before it started. Okay, the leader then, Joseph Ankara, invited General Gowon and Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu to Aburi to hammer out an agreement to prevent the Biafran war. Okay, Ojukwu's argument was that Nigeria was too big, divisive, and complex to be run from one central seat, and the massive and open buying of Igbos in the north had destroyed their trust of the central government. Did you pay attention to that? Ojukwu's proposed that the reason is that Nigeria is too big for one person to be run from one particular place, and also the buying of Igbos in the north has made Ojukwu and Igbos not to trust Nigeria again. Let's continue. He proposed massive, empowered, and semi-autonomous region, with each region having the ability to collect tax revenue. The army split into regional command and the central headquarters, and with every region owning their mineral resources. This is what Ojukwu proposed. Crucially, the regional governors had to approve any action by the federal government in their region. This is purely restructuring. So anything that federal government wants to do in any of the states based on regional, the governor of that state will need to approve it. If you don't approve it, the federal will not have power. Let's continue. While some of the ask were considered too radical, like having regional armies, Gowon agreed to almost everything else. After all, the regional system was what we had initially, and severally leading political like Awolowo supported it. You see am now. So Gowon agreed. Okay, let's continue. Since Awolowo supported it before, anyways, let's continue. Hands were shocked, pleasantries were exchanged, and the relief was piped that war was averted. For a minute, it seemed that Africa had dodged a bullet, but it was not to be so. Did you see this thing now? So hands were shaken, pleasantries were exchanged, and happiness and merriment will happen because they have agreed, they have reached an agreement. Why is Gowon now saying otherwise? Let's continue. When Gowon returned home, agreement in hand, to his table of advice and raised the alarm to them, an agreement where regional control their resources and veto central government action in their region, amounted to splitting the country among regional lines. To them, Gowon had given away too much, and that had to be fixed. Under the pressure, Gowon changed his mind. You see him now. Under the pressure, Gowon changed his mind. Who pressured him? But today, Gowon came out and said that it was fever and malaria that made him to say. You see all this propaganda they're pushing. Let's continue. The military government of Gowon rolled out Decree 8, which was billed as an implementation of the agreement reached at Aburi. In that degree, Gowon restored much of the power of the regional government, including the power to decide on matters relating to trade, police, high court, judges, education, and other matters within their region. However, the federal government retained its ability to declare a state of emergency and take control of any region by fight. They also deny giving the regional an absolute veto over federal decision, and of course, no right to maintain its own arm or succeed. Okay. Ojukwu and the Eastern region rejected this decree, insisting on what was agreed earlier on Aburi will stand. Did you see where the problem is coming from? You dey see where the problem dey come from now. So Igbos was not wrong. Ojukwu did not cause the war. Ojukwu did not push for war. Let's continue. With the rejection of Decree 8, Gowon announced the creation of 12 states to try to cut off Ojukwu's regional support base. Ojukwu declared the Eastern region in succeeding from Nigeria to become an independent country called Biafra. On July 6, 1967, the war began, which would last until May 30th, 1970, and cost almost 3 million Igbo lives. I will have to tell you categorically, Ojukwu did not cause the war. It was Yakubu Gowon that caused the war. Because if Yakubu Gowon, as he returned back from Aburi, on what they agreed on regional government, autonomous government, everybody protect your region, hold on to your region, then let every state governor be collecting their tax and their revenue and manage their resources. Anything that the federal wants to do, the governor need to approve it. If the governor of that state do not approve it, the federal do not have the power to impose or whatever levy on the states. But because they have seen Gowon want back and do otherwise, today the same Gowon is coming out to tell the world that they never agreed and it was this one. Later I come back and say, God, with all these things that happened, can you now agree comfortably that Igbos were actually cheated